Alright everybody, this is my 1998 Dodge Dakota Sport drag car. Got a pretty standard 30 over big block 440, typical bracket motor. It's actually pretty apart right now. As you can see, it's got roller rockers. Well, you can't really see that because they're taken out, but it's got roller rockers in it that the push rods are too long and causing to hit against the rocker, as you can see right up on top of these. So we got the motor taken apart to either get shorter rockers or to run a shim. What am I saying? Shorter push rods, or we're gonna run a shim on the rocker to get some clearance to where they're not hitting. Because 2 weeks ago, first time out with this new motor. This is the second motor that's been in it. Picked up this motor in the off season from a friend. Well, from a racing friend that was going a different direction, and ran into that problem after the first pass. The one of the rockers was out of adjustment, so we adjusted it back, went up for the next round, and went to adjust the valve last weekend, and one of the adjuster caps was completely off of the rocker. So we knew we probably had something a little deeper problem within the motor. So started looking. That's when we found that the push rods were just a little bit too long, and that's what caused the cap to pop off. So as I said, this is the second motor in the car. Here is the first motor, and as you can see, had some troubles our last time out. Definitely did some damage on number 7 and 8. Car was running good all weekend. Went up last day on Sunday, went to go do the burnout and do everything like normal. Gave it some gas, and RPMs were building, but nothing, tires weren't spinning, nothing like that. And so I let out of it and gave it some more gas, see what would happen. And that time the tire spun, but as soon as I got let off the line lock and rolled forward, the car was shaking really bad, just vibrating like crazy, at least more than it normally does. And shut it off, push it back, and we originally thought transmission, converter, something like that maybe broke. So I had a spare one at home. So that winter, get home, replace it, put a new transmission, new converter, and go to start it up, and it's shooting, backfiring out of the carburetor. And okay, I think we got something a little worse than what we thought. So we do a compression check, and sure enough, 7 and 8 here, absolutely nothing. So drop the pan, and you can see that they're twisted together, and still trying to figure out a way to get these off. Probably going to end up having to cut to hopefully separate it, and hope that works. But this is actually my dad's motor, so I felt pretty bad because this motor's been together for about 15 years. While in his car was under the knife, getting cut up, get chassis upgrade, stuff like that. So he let me borrow it, and sure enough, broke 2 rods. So I told him, let's get your car situated and we'll get this back together and put it in your car. But a little bit more details about the truck. Got a pretty standard 9-inch Ford with ladder bars on it, 30-10-5 tire. Nothing crazy, just a typical bracket car. No, that's not everybody's cup of tea, but that's kind of what we can afford. That's what we like to do, so we roll with it and pretty big family thing for us. So yeah, hopefully I'll make some more of these videos, see what people like them, want to watch them, and if they do, everybody give me a like and subscribe, and we'll see how we do. So before I get off here, just a little bit of backstory. Just recently got this thing painted by really good friends of ours, Matt and Gene Mullen. They did a fantastic job on this thing. Definitely did not used to look like this. It was pretty rough looking. I bought the truck about 3 years ago with, the cage work, the rear end and stuff like, and the motor plate. So really we thought maybe all it was going to need was a motor and transmission. It was not terrible, but it needed work. It was still running the stock front wheels on the front, so if that says anything, we had to re-drill the hubs and rotors, go to a 5-lug. Was running circle track wheels on the back and a way too big of a tire, so it was gonna rub no matter what we did, and had Lexan windows that didn't roll down. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind losing some weight making it lighter, but with a black truck it's gonna be very hot. So got some different doors that still had the roll up, could roll up and down, stuff like that, and make it a little bit cooler for me on race day. But the doors were green, so it was mismatched color, and the old hood on it was a stock hood that they just put a scoop on and cut everything out of it. So this off season, I wanted to make it look a little better, put some money into the body, get a new hood, which this hood's probably the nicest thing on it, I would say. Got it from US Body Source. They make great fiberglass hoods, fiberglass body parts, whatever you need, pretty much whatever you need. And I think it just looks killer on there. I'll put a couple pictures in what it used to look like. I'm not saying it looked terrible, but it was pretty rough looking, because it had holes up here in the back where when they originally were going to put the cage in, cut the holes, and then realized they didn't need to, so they just cut the holes in here and put duct tape over that. So we had to make some patches and hope it stuck, and it's held pretty well. Had to put in a new steering column, because the way they had the old seat in, it sat higher, and they had the stock column in it, and I didn't fit the greatest, set very high. So thankfully my brother and my dad are welders, know how to fabricate some stuff, so put in the new column, put in a new seat, and then we had to build some custom headers, because obviously these things don't come with a big block in them. So the motor plates were already done for the big block, but nobody's gonna make a header kit that'll fit one of these for a big block. So thankfully the guys over at Stainless Works Headers, great products, good material, gave me a great deal on a weld up kit. So that was another very big task. Thank you from our brother, because that was all him. Took him about a couple weeks, got it welded, powder coated, and they look killer. Probably the second nicest thing on the car next to the hood.